Greetings. My name's Allison Dean, and welcome to my study at my home in Chelmsford, England. We have the usual raft of books. Some teddies listening in today. Fletcher, a Canadian literacy bear. Manny from New York. Rascal, a little bear from the hospital where I work as lead chaplain. And Horace from Harrods. A couple of favorite family photographs and some lovely freesia from my garden. It is my pleasure to read to you Chapter 9 of Jane of Lantern Hill, so I invite you to sit back and enjoy. One day, a blue two-wheeled cart lumbered up the lane and left a big packing box in the yard. "A lot of my mother's china and silver are in that, Jane," said Dad. "I thought you might like to have them. You were named after her. They've been packed up ever since—" Dad suddenly stopped, and the frown that Jane always wanted to smooth out came over his brow. "They've been packed away for years." Jane knew perfectly well that he had started to say, "ever since your mother went away," or words to that effect. She had a sudden realization of the fact that this was not the first time Dad had helped fix up a home. Not the first time he had been nicely excited over choosing wallpaper and curtain and rugs. He must have had it all before with Mother. Perhaps they had had just as much fun over it as Dad and she were having now. More. Mother must have been sweet over fixing up her own home. She never had anything to say over the arrangements at 60 Gay. Jane wondered where the house Dad and Mother had lived in was. The house where she had been born. There were so many things she would have liked to ask Dad if she had dared. But he was so nice. How could Mother ever have left him? It was great fun unpacking Grandmother Stewart's box. There were lovely bits of glass and china in it. Grandmother Stewart's dinner set of white and gold. Silver-stemmed glass goblets. Quaint, pretty dishes of all kinds. And silver. A tea set. Forks. Spoons. Apostle spoons. Salt shakers. "That silver does need cleaning," said Jane in rapture. What fun she would have cleaning it and washing up all those dainty and delicate dishes. Polishing up the moon was nothing to this. In fact, the moon life had lost its charm. Jane had enough to do keeping her house spotless without going on moon sprees. Anyhow, the island moons never seemed to need polishing. There were other things in the box. Pictures and a delightful old framed motto worked in blue and crimson wool. "May the peace of God abide in this house." Jane thought this was lovely. She and Dad had endless palavers as to where the pictures should go, but eventually they were all hung and made such a difference. "As soon as you hang a picture on a wall," said Dad, "the wall becomes your friend. A blank wall is hostile." They hung the motto in Jane's room, and every night when she went to bed, and every morning when she got up, Jane read it over like a prayer. The beds blossomed out in wonderful patchwork quilts after that box came home. There were 3 of them that Grandmother Stewart had pieced. An Irish chain, a blazing star, and wild goose. Jane put the wild goose on Dad's bed, the blue Irish chain on her own, and the scarlet blazing star on the boot shelf against the day when they would have a bed for the spare room. They found a bronze soldier on horseback in the box, and a shiny brass dog. The soldier went up on the clock shelf, but Dad said the dog must go on his desk to keep his china cat in order. Dad's desk had been brought from Mr. Meade's and was set up in the study. An old, shining mahogany desk with sliding shelves and secret drawers and pigeonholes. The cat sat on one corner, a white, green-spotted cat with a long, snaky neck and gleaming diamond eyes. For some reason Jane could not fathom, Dad seemed to prize the thing. He'd carried it all the way from Brookview to Lantern Hill in his hand, so it shouldn't get broken. Jane's own particular booty was a blue plate with a white bird flying across it. She would eat every meal off of it after this. And the old hourglass, with its golden sands on its walnut base, was charming. Early 18th century, said Dad. My great-grandfather was a United Empire loyalist, and this hourglass was about all he had when he came to Canada. That, and an old copper kettle. I wonder. Yes, here it is. More polishing for you, Jane. And here's an old bowl of blue and white striped china. Mother mixed her salads in it. I'll mix mine in it, said Jane. There was a little box at the very bottom of the big box. Jane pounced on it. Dad, what's this? Dad took it from her. There was a strange look on his face. That? Oh, that's nothing. Dad, it's a Distinguished Service Medal. Mrs. Colwyn had one in her room at St. Agatha's. Her brother won it in the Great War. Oh, Dad, you! Jane was breathless with pride over her discovery. Dad shrugged his shoulders. You can never deceive your faithful Jane, says she. I won it at Passchendaele. Once I was proud of it. It seemed to mean something when... Throw it out. Dad's voice was oddly savage, but Jane was not afraid of it, any more than she was afraid of his quick, brief spurts of temper. Just a flash and a snap like lightning from a summer cloud, then sunshine again. He had never been angry with her, but he and Uncle Tombstone had had a spat or two. I won't throw it out. I'm going to keep it, Dad. Dad shrugged. Well, don't let me see it then. Jane put it on her bureau and gloated over it every day. But she was so excited over the contents of the box that she put icing sugar instead of salt in the Irish stew she made for dinner, and her humiliation robbed her for a time of her high delight in life. Happy like the stew, though. That ends chapter 19.